again, all you terrific positive thinkers. Mr. Positive here, Ken Bossone, president of the World Positive Thinkers Club, coming at you again. Long time no see. And want to remind you that the motto of the World Positive Thinkers is the positive thinker sees the invisible, feels the intangible, and achieves the impossible. And as General Hap Arnold, who was the chief of the Army Air Force in World War II, said, the difficult we do immediately, the impossible, well, that just takes a little bit longer, but we'll get it done. So again, want to welcome you to the World Positive Thinkers. Boy, have we been doing some things. We've got some really neat ladies on board now. Myra Goldick, who is my co-host on our radio show. Myra is a motivational speaker. She is also an author, and she's got many other talents. She's a former executive. She's in a mastermind group, and she's on the Speakers Bureau. And also Sharon Izzy, and I've known Sharon for a couple of years and didn't know she had the abilities that she has, but boy, does she have the ability to do some really neat technical things. And so she talked me into going up a level, and you will see shortly we'll be going up a level. We've already gone up several levels since she came on board with our radio show. We now have music and some other things we've done, and we're really going to be doing some interesting things. There goes my golf game, Sharon. But anyway, we're going to be having sponsors on shortly on our radio show. We'll have a video show that'll be a little bit more in depth than this one, and we'll have our own TV show. And we are on Blog Talk Radio, but we will have our own radio show. We will be on podcasts as well. We got some really phenomenal plans in the future, thanks to Sharon and Myra talking me into doing these things. So anyway, welcome again. And I wanted to get back to giving you some tips on stress, and I'm going to keep harping on the things that I think are very successful in overcoming stress. And that is, the first is, remember the old pencil? If you're facing stress, all you've got to do is take this pencil, put it between your teeth, don't bite down, just hold it between your teeth. And what that does, it relaxes your jaw muscles, okay? And your jaw muscles have got these muscles in here that go up to your brain, and that's what causes these stress headaches, is the tensing. Because what you're doing subconsciously is this. Okay, you're gritting your teeth when you have stress, so you want to relax those jaw muscles. The other thing that I talked to you about was my favorite, these chime balls. And you simply take these chime balls and twirl them. And the melodic music from these chime balls is very, very relaxing. And if you look in the underside of your wrist, you will see that your blood vessels are moving, which means you're helping to pump blood back to your heart faster and better. So these are an excellent way to overcome stress if you're in traffic, you're going to a traffic jam, which happens to me occasionally. I just pull these things out and there's no more stress. Okay, the other thing that I keep talking about is your breathing. And you want to be able to breathe correctly when you're facing stress situations. And that is, you breathe through your nose slowly and breathe out your mouth slowly like this. And you just relax your body. Okay, simple. Those three simple things will help you overcome stress. Not saying we'll do it permanently, but during the times that you're facing stress, this is what you do. Okay? You breathe in and out 5 times, but do it slowly. You don't want to do it fast or you'll hyperventilate. And we don't want you to hyperventilate and pass out and then say, Ken told me to do it. Okay? So breathe slowly. All right? Don't bite down on this pencil. I've had people say, well, I'll bite down the pencil. That's negative. You're thinking negative when you talk like that. Think positive. Think positive in every situation. Okay? Because, you know, negativity, I've never seen yet a statue erected to a critic. Okay? So think positive. It's easier to think positive than it is negative, because then you have more facial muscles that aren't being used when you think positive. When you think negative, you're using more muscles, more stress. Okay? It's like the old story, the positive thinker, unlike the negative thinker, when the positive thinker sees the handwriting on the wall, he doesn't think it's a forgery. Okay? And when he goes on a trip and suddenly there's a detour, the positive thinker enjoys the scenery. So, think positive. It's easy. It really is easy to do. Well, not for everybody, but why not give it a try? It's fun. I want to talk to you a little bit about my mentor, Dr. Vincent Peale, who has passed away back in 1993, I think it was, right after my father passed away. My father was 95, and there was a positive thinker for you. But Dr. Peale was the guru of positive thinking. And he wrote the very first book, to my knowledge now, on positive thinking called The Power of Positive Thinking. He wrote over 15 books, and he was also the publisher and editor of Guidepost magazine. And that's another story in itself. I've already told you that, but I'll tell you again. But Dr. Peale gave a speech in 1967, and the speech was Why Positive Thinkers Get Results. I'm going to give you a little bit of that speech, just a few minutes of it. I'll give it in bits and pieces again. I've done it before, but I've had some people ask me to do it again, so I'll do it again. Okay, it's kind of a neat talk. Anyway, Dr. Peale started out by saying, I'd like to talk to you today about why positive thinkers get results. And they do too, that's for sure. One reason they do is that a positive thinker is not afraid of a problem. As a matter of fact, he goes for problems. He gets a tremendous kick out of taking a hard, tough, knotty problem, ripping it apart, and putting it together again in the right fashion. Now, I've got a notion that some people think that a positive thinker is not a good thing. As a matter of fact, some people say that life would be easier if they had fewer problems or easier problems or no problems whatsoever. Would you, in fact, be better off if you had easier problems or fewer problems, or better still, no problems whatsoever? Well, there's a question to consider, and I'd like to answer it by telling you of an incident. Well, next time I meet with you, I'm going to tell you about that incident and his friend George from out of town. But it's kind of a neat story, and it really is. It's got kind of a funny ending, but you might guess the ending before I give it to you, okay? But anyway, this is kind of fun talking about Dr. Peale. After all, he was my mentor, and he was the guru of positive thinking, the second greatest positive thinker to my knowledge. So anyway, it's been great being with you again. I'm glad you could tune in, and listen, you gotta watch for our radio shows, because we have some fabulous guests on our radio shows. We have one of the last remaining black pilots, Colonel Hiram E. Mann from World War II, the Tuskegee Airmen, the Red Tails. We also had Dana Bowman, who was a former SFC, Sergeant First Class, in the Golden Knight skydiving team. He lost both his legs in a skydiving accident, traveling at 150 miles an hour. He designed his own prosthesis. I've known Dana since 1995. He goes around the world giving talks. Boy, what a talk he can give. And he was on our radio show. He's given talks to the FBI and the CIA. So he's pretty well known and much in demand as a speaker. We also had the safety mom on, and we had Corey McDonald. Corey is, well, he's almost blind. But you know, the interesting thing is that Corey has 2 degrees in 2 different styles of self-defense, the martial arts. He has 2 black belts. And you know what? Corey teaches, yet he's almost blind. We also had a almost blind marathon runner who actually has won marathon races. We had the safety mom on, and we had a really neat guy on who just happens to be the SWAT team commander here in Orlando, Florida. So that was a great talk. We're going to have a couple of other neat people. I can't tell you about all of them, but if you go to our Facebook page, you can scroll down and you'll see a link that takes you to all our radio shows. You can listen to them at your leisure. But we're going to have a very interesting gentleman on. He just happens to be an artist. And this artist just happens to paint with a paintbrush in his mouth. And it just so happens he has to do that because he has no arms or legs. But you ought to see some of the stuff that he paints. We're also going to have a winning pitcher in the World Series in 1960 for the Pittsburgh Pirates when they played and beat the New York Yankees. And I had a chance to play for those Pirates back in 1960. His name is Vernon Law. He was the Cy Young Award winner that year. Look him up on the internet, Vernon Law. He'll be on our show. All right, so thanks for stopping by. I'm going to leave you with my favorite poem. And some of you know what that is. And I'll leave you with that poem. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is queer with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns. And many a struggler has turned about when he might have wanted, he stuck it out. And he learned too late, when night came down, how close he was to the golden crown. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt. And you never know how close you are, maybe near when it seems afar. So stick to the fight when your heart is hit. It's when things seem worse that you mustn't quit. So have a great strong. We don't have weeks. Have a great strong end. We don't have weekends on the World Positive Thinkers. Okay? So remember, think positive. That's an order.